Okay.
With your social media posts and stuff like that, I'm just calling a spade a spade. I'm calling it how I see it. If I see you put a good post out, I've told you, I love it. I think it's the coolest thing ever. So I'm looking at these posts, and to me it does seem like it was just a quick effort to get something out. Half-assed probably wasn't the phrase to use. I'm sorry for saying that, and I know you spent some time on it. I did look back at your weekly progress report. It did say you spent a half hour on it. So I don't know if that was accumulative. You spent a half an hour, So what I'm getting at is a half an hour, in my opinion, could be enough time to do a post, but it's not like it was, hey, I spent a half a day making sure this was a great post and this and that. It was something that was thrown out there, and I think it could be a little better. That's all. I'm just calling a spade on that front.
Why didn't you say anything when I sent it to you for approval?
Well, what had happened is, so I had sent it out, and I had talked to you about that, and then I don't think I got a response back from you until probably a couple days later on it. And it was one of those things that when I looked at it, I didn't like it. And I think I was off, and I didn't want to call you and say, hey, blah, 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 I don't like this, because it was already posted.
No, I sent for approval a week before I even used it.
No, not the one that I did, because it was, we had talked about, I think we had just talked about it in my office, regardless of whether it was here or there. I just didn't get back to you in time. I probably should have, but I just didn't get back to you in time. I probably should have. And, I mean, to be honest with me, did you spend a lot of time on that? Or
Absolutely, I'll be honest with
Okay.
you. I have not done anything that's been half-assed, or I just throw it
I
together.
apologize. If you spent time on that, I apologize
Thank
for that.
you.
I got caught up in it, and I'm sorry for that. But I am going to call it like I see it. So if I think that something is lacking, I'm going to say it. And I'm going to try my best to not raise my voice, and that is the main reason I sent you home for the day, was because I could see that it was just getting to a place where it was going to be not productive. We were arguing. It was getting to a point where we were being argumentative with each other.
You had said, I feel like I can't get through to you today. You need to go home. What were you trying to get through to me?
I was trying to just explain to you the whole thing. Originally, it was the thing with the accounting lady, right? So I thought it was going to be good news for you. You had spent time doing it. We know that you're concerned about it. And I told you the week prior that, hey, we were going to get this done for you. And I think you did stop looking at it, But then the next Monday, and I was just saying, I wasn't saying you're gone and I didn't know about it or anything like that. I just said, when I did find out about it, I went into your office to tell you right away, you weren't there. Your light was on and everything, so I knew you were coming back, but you were gone. So then I came back in here, and then I didn't talk to you until the next morning, and when I did grab you, I wanted to talk to you about social media posts. I was going to do a whole different thing, and when you came in, it was just, I don't even have time for this, and that rubbed me the wrong way because I thought you weren't spending enough time on things with social media posts, for example, just the quality of the post. And then when it was David Kloss, that rubbed me wrong too, because it's Manitou Group and it's not us, and right now we're a limited group of people, and you've been working on Brushable stuff. And I understand that you're working on SEO stuff, and that takes time to prepare, and it makes time to come to fruition, but really, we need stuff now that we can get a quick turnaround on, if possible, whether it's email blasts, social media posts, creating a tighter brand. Vernig is a good example, I guess you could say, but it's not, I guess, the lead we want to take. But something that has a congruent, I just thought that it looked a little amateurish. That's all. With the squiggly line and stuff, everyone starts somewhere and everyone gets to where they need to be. I've made shit in the past that looked childish too, or made stuff in the past. I'm not saying yours was childish, but I'm saying that it just wasn't up to my standards. That's all. And it got to a point where it was like, I don't have time for this, leave, and I kind of took offense to that, and I'm sure you could see that. It was like, hey, don't you got 3 minutes to go over this thing that you were so concerned about?
I didn't think that it was going to take 3 minutes. I thought that it would take more than that. And I know Matt was adamant that I not spend that much time about it. That's when I was trying to explain that Matt's being smart about this. He sat me down, and I spend too much time on being a perfectionist, and he set me straight. He goes, this is something, if you want to take it on, you can't spend that much time on. And it exploded into, I sent David the brochure. Well, he had a bunch of changes, and then he wanted me to put his logo on stuff. I didn't have his logo. So it turned into a thing.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to get it done. It was supposed to be done on Friday, but I had just gotten the logo. So I was really confused on why I felt like it was kind of an explosion from you. You're talking about Matt being a slave driver. Why is he having you do this? And I felt like you were interrogating me. I felt like I had to defend myself. I felt like you were ripping apart my work, and that was the first I've heard of it. Like you said, it's always been really good feedback. And to be honest with you, it seems like this has been building up the last so many weeks. Around the same time, I was asking Sarah what she knows about the Simple IRA. I've asked about the Simple IRA months ago, and it's the end of June. It feels like to me we're dragging our feet on it.
No.
And then when you came to me and said, I can't believe you're spending your work hours working on this.
Well, this was after I talked to you the week prior, right? I talked to you and I said, hey, you spent a lot of time working on it. You're dragging quite a few people into it.
Okay. We gotta clarify here because
Okay.
there's a lot of accusations coming at me.
Yep.
So I had talked to Jess about it. She said, we're not doing a match because we don't have money. Remember, I went into you and Scott and I said, is this the case? If that's
Yep.
the case, I'm backing off. If not, it's kind of illegal. So I had to pull teeth is a little bit of a strong word with Jess. I just had to, IA what the laws are and show it to her. She had to work with, what's his name? The gentleman who manages the account, and he is not the greatest at getting back. Yes. So finally we came to it, and then something else happened where I saw a lot of errors, and I asked Sarah. What Sarah did with that is what Sarah did with that. I never asked. I was shocked that you got involved. I was completely shocked. We hired someone to look into
the
this.
hiring of that person was for other reasons, but it just so happened that we could cover your topic.
Okay, just to let you know, the explosion you had on Tuesday, you said you had us hire a very expensive professional to look into this.
I never said I had to hire a very...
No, you said I had you guys hire a very expensive professional to look into this.
That ain't what I said. I said we have a person hired that's going through everything, and she's a very good, reputable person that knows what she's doing. She's an accountant. So, I mean, you didn't trust us when we said we were going to take care of it, because then you waited you just told us right now.
It wasn't a trust thing. It was, Sarah, can you give me a copy? Can I look at my file? Can I look at my employer file? Because I know the 2 documents that I signed were in there.
Yeah.
And she's busy, she's new.
Yeah.
I don't even think knew where the file cabinet was.
Well, we can't give you the file. I mean, that's your personal file from our work.
Well,
I mean,
she does have, she does have, an employee does have right to look at an employee's file.
Right, but there needs
It's
to be
not
some...
to be left.
I need this thing. I don't want the whole folder either.
Nope, by law, I'm able to request to look at my entire folder.
I'm getting to a point with this whole thing where it's like this law gotcha stuff, and I just feel like it's a law thing on one side or the other, and I just don't even want to go. We're trying to make this as clean as possible with you, and it's a gotcha thing. It seems like it's being a gotcha
You
thing.
just accused me of dragging people into this, though, Nick.
You did. I mean, Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, but she came into your office quite a few times with no prior notice requesting documentation.
Yeah, so
requesting
let
document-
me speak to that. Okay, so in a small company, which we are, there's designated people with different roles. And I think what we're trying to get at is, with your situation, we want to give you the respect and confidentiality that you deserve. But sometimes when whether it's you or anybody else, when someone comes in an office and is like, I want this now, and it's like, okay, let's all be respectful, let's close the door, let's have these conversations. And so when you would come in at different points, and quite honestly, there were times when I was in the middle of something. There was an email sent by you, I said, I'll get to it, I'll let you know. There was a time when I was on the phone with somebody else, and then you come in, you're like, I'm on the phone with so-and-so, I want to talk about this now, and it's like, okay, then I have to shut everything down, I have to close down my computer, and I'm happy to do that, that is my role, but we need to respect that everybody has a schedule, including you, and there's certain times and certain ways that we do that so that we're diligently getting to you, but everybody else at the same time. And I think when we start throwing around terms like legal and things like that, it comes off the wrong way. And yes, you have rights. Yes, we need to correct things. I'm thankful that you have been patient. I understand from your perspective that things are getting drug out. So then we get upset, and then, you know, because there's deadlines. You've got taxes. You've got, you've got to worry about Jill, right? But when you came in the way that you did, then everybody knew about it. Then all of a sudden, everybody overheard bits and pieces. Now they're worried, and that's what we're talking about as far as
Bringing other people in.
bringing other people into it. Now we have other concern where there might not need to be concern. And then I'm having to, we're paying Wendy to do this, and we're happy to do that, because we want this right for you.
This is part of
But
Wendy's
then,
scope of
correct, but then, now, you know, now Sarah's constantly being dragged back into this issue that we've delegated to somebody else. Do you see what I'm saying? And the other thing, I think in the future, with what you're saying, is go to the correct person. You know, obviously it's Matt, and I'm not saying you didn't, but when you're worried and you're concerned, and I do this too, then you start bringing everybody into it. Unintentionally. I'm not saying that you're doing it on purpose. So in the future, you know, with you being gone, great, we're trying to change things up. I'm trying to bring some new things to the table, and I appreciate, because you've helped me, given me insight. But if you've got a time off and Scott's given it, just send an email so I know, I put it on my calendar, done. You know, if you have a concern about HR, she did this just yesterday. You came to me, and I appreciated that, and we talked about it and how this meeting could go better. And that's all I'm hearing, is there's an issue. Let's come to a resolution, but let's stop. We got to stop the, you know, you did this, she did this, you know, here we are. Bring it down, and let's just fix it.
Yeah, I
Because
guess
you've
what is
got
your
great
major
skills.
concern right now at this point?
That is not true.
What's that?
I never came into your office and demanded anything. In fact, I have emails that say whenever you're free.
Yep.
I felt like you were blowing me off, or there was something going on where it almost felt kind of secretive. All I needed to know was when you guys, Jess, whoever, this company made a salary deferral,
Yep.
what paycheck that corresponded with.
Yep.
Such an easy question.
It wasn't just that though.
It wasn't, yeah.
Didn't you have her print off 50 plus pay stubs?
I needed all my pay stubs
Okay,
to
so
go
that
through it.
Is part of this conversation.
So it was printing out pay stubs.
It's a bunch of work. We have her coming in here because Jessica did a bad job. Jessica quit. She went away. She came in, filled her shoes. I found $70,000 worth of errors for invoicing Bush Hog. So this is where we're at.
This is
$70,000. So I'm just telling you where we're coming from. We got insurance that hasn't been paid. We got simple IRAs that haven't been paid. We have medical that the numbers were wrong. We have all sorts of things happening here in this company that are top level that we need to address. While addressing them, while addressing them, we're taking care of your thing in the same time. Because this lady's working for us, she's going through and she's adjusting a bunch of things and making QuickBook accurate. I had the corrections for you and I was gonna show you that. And that's how it's going to happen, is the way she told us. And that's where it fell apart.
I respectfully disagree, you guys. I went to Sarah and I said, we actually had a phone call with the IRA, and we both seemed a little stumped, and we're both digging through and trying to pull our information together and track what happened. That's why I needed a copy of all the pay stubs that I didn't get half of them from Jess. That's not on me, okay? There are
What do you mean by that, not on me?
There are two different times where I said, Sarah, can I get this from
Stop for
you?
a second. What do you mean by that's not on me?
I didn't get my paychecks. That's not my fault.
You didn't
You
get
mean
your
your pay
paychecks?
stubs?
your
My pay stub, yeah.
From who? When?
From Jess. I had half of them.
Okay,
So she wasn't giving you your pay stubs?
No, sometimes she would.
So what are you saying is not on you, I guess?
That's not my fault that I didn't have the pay stub. So that's why I'm requesting a copy of the
She gave
pay
you the pay
stub.
stubs during your paycheck.
Who, Jess?
You never got pay stub for your paycheck?
Sometimes.
Okay, I guess
Yeah.
that's neither here or there. She's gone and down the road.
Okay.
Sarah's in here doing doing it and we're correcting it for you right now.
Okay.
And she's new to the zoo, and you asked her for quite a bit of stuff.
I don't think it was quite a bit of stuff.
In my
This is where
opinion, it was quite
this
a
is
bit
where I
of stuff.
disagree. So, and it was easy stuff. But Sarah, you never said, I can't deal with this right now, or I'm on the phone right now. It was, yeah, let me spend some time on it this morning and come back and see me in the afternoon. Come back, can you come find me?
I believe she was trying to be accommodating because she is new here, and she's trying to take
But
care
I
of everybody.
did, but I did tell you the time that you came in, and you know, maybe demand is the wrong word. I'm not trying to say that, well, Jill's, you're not. You know, I realize you're advocating for yourself, and I think I did come to you and I said I appreciate that about you.
Absolutely.
So anyway, but if you want to recall that situation, I was actually, there was several times that you said, and you were patient, but then all of a sudden you're like, no, I want this information. And
Do you have,
so then
wait, was that
the
an
time
email
you
I
came-
sent, or I verbally said, no, I need this
Well, there
now?
was a couple times that you had called. There was emails. I could pull them up, and I'm not going to do that right now because we're arguing a mute point. But back to that specific day, I was actually on the phone, and I had emailed and I said I'd go over it with the afternoon. Well, you were on the phone and you had them and you had figured out some information. So I was just barely hanging up the phone, wrapping up a phone call on speaker, when you came in and said, I have this person on the phone, we need to settle this. So I had to close down on everything that I did.
I didn't say we need to settle this. I said, do you have time
Not
to come
settle,
over and
but we need to-
join the phone call?
No, you came into my office, you had her on your cell phone on speaker. And then I was kind of like discombobulated, and part of it, you say it's so easy to pull up. It's not easy to pull up employer contributions when I don't know where files were saved, when I didn't quite understand and didn't have the correct login information. And that's why I put you off and then involved him and asked him. I said, okay, we have an issue.
So you involved Nick. I'm not dragging people into this.
No,
Joe, you're being very argumentative again here. You're starting to.
Yeah,
you
he's
are.
my
You're-
he's
I'm
my
talking to.
supervisor.
We're talking to you about something that's. You drug people into this, Jill. Plain and simple. You took, and it could be.
Nick, I completely
Factual.
disagree, and I don't like you.
Jill, how is it that everyone in the whole?
I
entire
feel like I
building is
need-
talking to you, talking about this.
I feel like I have no idea. It wasn't from me, and I feel like I constantly need to defend myself. I feel like you guys are accusing me
Nope,
of
I
dragging
don't feel
people
that.
in.
I feel that that's
The only
pretty
person-
weak excuse because I'm coming at you with truthfulness here. I come at you just like we had talked before she had joined us. If you are doing a good job, I tell you you are doing a great job. When someone is doing a subpar job, I tell you you're doing a subpar job. Anybody here.
The only
That's what the
person.
discussion was about. And my two things here, if we read this over, let's talk about the warning right now because I think that's the root of everything. You got the copy that I gave you?
I do want to say the only people that I've talked to about this was Sarah. I never talked to you about this. I never talked to Matt about this.
You came in and talked to me and my dad about it.
I asked if it's
After
true.
talking to Sarah about it.
That was Jess.
Or Jess about it.
Jess said we cannot pay your match because the company doesn't have money. That's illegal, and I know that. So I went to you guys, and if it's really a struggle, I would have dropped it right there. But your dad said, no, she needs to do that. Okay, that was it. And then another issue came up where I got a form in the mail and it was incorrect. And I asked Sarah, do you know anything about Simple IRA? I never went to you. I never went to Matt. No one. Roger, nobody. So it is very difficult for me to hear that you guys are accusing me of dragging people into this and the whole building knows about it because of me, when that's not true.
Well, part of it was, Jill, is when you were talking and you're coming down the hall and you're talking with the Simple IRA people, that people overheard that, then they overhear it on speakerphone, and then, one of your emails you CC'd Matt, because I replied to you and I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to CC Matt on it, and you're like, no, I attached Matt to it.
Because Matt needs to
So
know,
you did
this
talk
is
to
when it
Matt.
was flaring up, when
Yeah,
Nick
sure.
was complaining that I was working on personal stuff. So I want my boss to know exactly what I'm working on.
Okay.
That's the only reason why I
that's what
CC'd
mean
into
by,
this.
Everybody knows, it's,
But I
you
can't
were
control, what other people are listening to.
Yeah, you can. Don't walk down the hallway with someone on speakerphone talking about your Simple IRA.
I wasn't talking from my room to Sarah's room, I wasn't talking to this person. I said, hold on.
discreet. Well, there were times when my door was open and you would, I need to talk about this, or I need this. It's just, people overheard, that's what we're getting at.
And not because of me, though. I want to make that very clear.
To who?
To everyone.
Well, I did have, and I'm not gonna name names, but I had people say, I overheard some things that Jill said, and so now I'm concerned.
If they heard me talking about the IRA and then now they're concerned about their IRA, that's on them.
But we just don't wanna spread concern where there shouldn't be any. Right now, we're
I-
dealing with yours, and we're auditing other people.
You guys know when I come on here and Nick said, come look at my screen, and that video started playing, and I said, I don't want to see anything that's not related to me.
Yeah,
because
that
I
wasn't related to
understand
you. Yeah.
that you are working with how many other employees
Yeah.
that might have the similar
Yeah.
situation or at least have an IRA with the company.
Yeah.
I have been so careful about people's privacy
Yeah.
and not getting involved
Sure.
and not seeing anything that I'm not
Yeah.
No
supposed
one's
to see.
talking about
Yeah,
you doing
yeah,
privacy.
yeah.
It's other people. It's your privacy.
We don't want, we're trying to protect you.
That is an example of why would I want to drag other people
I don't think
in
you want to
and
drag other people
I don't.
in, but
I don't
it
think it
happened.
was
Other people are
intentional at
aware
all.
of the fact that this is happening, and it's been not a good thing for the
Are you guys
company.
upset that I brought this to your
No,
case?
We're not at all.
Then why are you upset that other
Because
people
you're tangenting.
heard about
Let's
it?
talk about the review. Can you please pull this up and let's go over this just real quick?
Is this my employment review?
No.
Okay, because I had that 2 months ago with Matt.
Okay,
Okay.
why don't you read it?
Jill was argumentative and disrespectful to the general manager during a conversation discussing the quality and content of recent social media posts on Facebook. Jill was also defensive when told not to work on simple IRA errors affecting her account during working hours. She said it was our fuck up. You didn't say that? Okay, I think you got selective memory, Jill, because you looked right at me and said it because it's your fuck up. Okay. Well, on the very bottom line is my signature below indicates that I have read and received a copy of this document. My signature below does not indicate that I agree with the contents of this document. So if I can't read and get through this without you shaking your head and disagreeing with everything, you can read it on your own time, I guess, if that's the way it's gonna work, but I think it's important that you read through this and kind of heed our words. The gist of it is we told you not to work on stuff on company time that wasn't directly related to the company effort. And you did say it was our fuck up, 100%. Then on top of that, when I talked about the social media post, you got loud and said you were very defensive because you spent a lot of hard time and work and energy on that. Before she was in here, I apologized for saying it was half-assed. That probably wasn't the correct term. I should have said it's not up to my standards. Jill was notified on Monday, June 18th to stop any further work put into correcting errors with her Simple IA during normal working hours. She was told that we would have a qualified outside party look into the mistake and that we would have answers for her by the following Monday. You were sent home on June 24th after the incident because I thought it was heading in a bad direction and I didn't want it to escalate any farther. Law says that you need to get paid, which I'm sure you're aware of, so you'll get paid for that day. This type of behavior is not tolerated, it's unprofessional, and this type of behavior is disruptive to the company efforts and the company work environment. You're to stay on task during normal working hours and avoid any personal tasks that need to be done. A prepared plan or schedule for social media posts is expected out of a marketing manager. Weekly, to me and Matt, we'll approve it prior to you posting. The next week it'll be posted. That's what we'd like to see out of you. Additional discussions with Jill to improve your attitude and interactions with others is needed, and a failure to improve on this can ultimately end in termination. So
I'm completely shocked by this, Nick. I honestly expected this meeting to be you apologizing to me
okay,
for yelling.
yeah, but that ain't how the real world works, Jill. Okay, you have a boss, and the boss tells you what to do.
Okay, and then
Okay,
let's
so when you came in
clarify.
here, you raised your voice first to me.
Ma-
100%. You must have selective memory, Jill, because you stand right here, and when I was going through everything and talking about it, you said, I'm going to stop you right there, and you got very defensive and said, I take great offense to that. That's where the voices started to get raised. When did the voice get raised before that?
When I said that I'm working on the brochure and you were interrogating me about
I was
the brochure,
interrogating you, or was
and
I
then
doing my job?
you said, or do something about Matt being a slave driver.
No, I said you don't have 2 minutes to look at the video. What is Matt, a slave driver? Like, what is he? He's on you so much over there that you can't look at this video for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Don't spin my
heard
words.
that.
That's what I said.
Sarah, you heard that?
I heard what Matt or what Nick said. And I also, he did disclose to you that video was only in regards to your matter.
And it was 2 minutes long.
When you said that
And ultimately, what it comes down to is a fit within the company, you know, a fit, whether it's people getting along well with people, knowing what they have to do, having the autonomy to go and do it right now. And right now, we're not getting that out of you, Jill. And that's what I was talking to you about.
So when you had mentioned that the company owes me $3,000 to $4,000, I said I'm nervous about that because that's going to put me over my salary deferral.
Yeah.
And you said, "Who told you that? Who told you that?" And then Sarah had to jump in and explain to you that that is an IRS
Explain
requirement.
to me.
Yeah.
We have the answers for you, Jill.
She explained, no, that's an
Who did
IRS.
you talk to? Who did you talk to that says we owe you $300?
Yeah.
I'm curious on that.
When I came in here, you said that the company owes you $3,000 to $4,000. It's
Okay.
all in this video, and I said that scares me because that would put me
I know.
over my salary deferral.
Right.
You said, "Who told you that? Who
And
told you
yeah.
that would put you over your salary deferral?" You got really upset, Nick. Nick,
And, well,
Nick,
and that's where he wasn't involved in these conversations, and Nick was trying to say he wanted the information, and I believe you talked to American Funds. Well, what you have to understand, and that was my understanding from that conversation, was they are just the receiving party. We have to go back internally and track, you know, what the deferrals were supposed to be, you know, and what payments were to each payroll, and that's what Wendy was doing.
But he was asking about who told me that I cannot make so much contribution to my IRA per year. Who told me that
No,
there's a
I was
max to
asking
that?
you, who told you it was $200, $300 opposed to what I'm finding out? Who told you that information?
No, no.
Who are you working with?
When you said the company owes you whatever money it was, whatever figure it was, I didn't repeat it back. I said that makes me nervous because it doesn't match my figures.
Okay.
And that means if that's the case, because it was a larger amount than I would ever expect, then it's going to put me over my max, and then I get fined by the IRS. And then you went after me and you said, "Who told you that? Who told you that?"
Yeah, okay, so, but back,
Who,
but
and
back,
all I'm
but
asking is
back
who
to
you're
the-
working with outside of us trying to help correct your errors.
It's an IRS.
Well, I believe
Guideline.
your tax advisor
It's-
and then American Funds.
So you looked at the
However-
Public
IRS
knowledge.
guidelines and crunched the numbers and came up with it by yourself?
So-
I'm wondering who you're working with.
You bet.
So I guess the point that I need to make is that we've already discovered through the CPA that there's things that can be corrected, that it's not too late, and that it shouldn't affect your taxes. But the point is you didn't listen to the video.
I didn't have time. I did not have time to listen to the video. I wanted to do the brochure.
What does that mean?
That is what tells you what people can contribute into their IRA. There's a max that you can contribute into it. That's where it's laid out.
But there's also certain things that a CPA can go in and do to work with. You know, they have a different license and permissions that allow them to talk to the IRS, talk to tax professionals, talk to Simples, get things corrected so that it's not costing you. So I get that
Guys,
there's-
I just said this makes me nervous because it would put me over my max.
Okay.
And Nick attacked me and said, "Who told you that? Who told
I
you
didn't
that?"
attack you at all, so don't say that. I didn't attack you. That's your personal belief. I believe me and her and everyone else in this place would agree that I didn't attack you.
Nick, I've seen and witnessed you
Okay. Yep.
attack
That's all I need to
other
know.
employees.
Good. Yep.
For 30 minutes, you were swearing and cussing and yelling at a guest in Roger's room where I wanted to hide underneath my desk.
Okay.
The meeting on Tuesday scared me. You were accusing me of
Jill.
all these things.
With all due respect, I think this is heading in a wrong direction, and I think that she's making up things, and I don't even want to go there. So I'm done with this conversation at this point because it's heading in a direction again where you're doing the gotcha thing and you think you got some fucking case or something. I don't get it, but I don't like it at all.
Are you able to calmly talk about this?
No, are you able to not accuse people and just make accusations about people that aren't true? You were scared? Are you fucking serious? Are you serious right now, Jill? I gotta step out because this is ridiculous. I'm not even gonna go through that because there is not a chance in the world I would threaten you in any way. We were talking about work-related subjects. and the issue with your IRA. You got loud and defensive when I said, no, then how did it happen, Jill? Who got loud and defensive first? Is it when I was attacking you over who helped you figure out the numbers?
It
'Cause I don't
was,
think I attacked you either, Jill. I was talking to you about it. I was working through it with you.
it was the IRA comment. You said, who told you that? Who told you that? And then when I was talking about working on the brochure,
No, I asked
you
who
went
were
off
working with.
and asked a million questions about why you're doing this, who you're doing it for, how much time. I was very confused. I don't know the relationship between this company and MGA. I was doing what I was told. So I felt like you were interrogating me. And then you said, stop doing the brochure. And then I said, what should I focus on now? And you said things that were very emotionally charged that made me feel uncomfortable.
What did I
And
say?
you started
No, what
saying,
did I say?
you said, why don't you tell me? You should be coming up with ideas. You haven't come up with anything.
So that was me being very threatening to you? That was emotionally charged rhetoric? Was me saying, you haven't come up with anything social media wise? You haven't posted in a week. Matt called you out on that. You said, yes, I had. You pulled it up. You said, no, again, yeah, it has been a week.
I feel like right now is
You don't
heated.
think I have the right to get a little worked up over what you're talking about?
But Jill,
I'm answering your questions, Nick. You said, did I think that was emotionally charged? Yes. And right now is proof. This, to me, is unprofessional.
Okay.
That we can't
There's
sit
a
and
lot of
discuss
things that
this.
happen around here from a bunch of people that are unprofessional. We're a small company and things don't go corporate every single time. What I took great offense to was you saying that you felt unsafe when I attacked a guest in the office for a half an hour. You felt unsafe, and then when you were in here, you felt unsafe as well. Okay. All right.
I think that when we can't get through a conversation without using accusatory words, that things can get a little heated, right? So, I hear you, I hear him, I get it. So, what are you hoping for? I mean, you read the letter. I mean, if there's any, if you have any other questions, otherwise I'll.
Okay. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of discrepancy. Why isn't this coming from my supervisor? Do we all have the ability to write each other up?
Well, there's a chain of command, and because Nick is a general manager, he's also overseeing Matt.
I was told when I started here that you're the GM of the shop.
No.
Okay,
I'm the owner here in about a fucking month.
I was never told that.
Okay.
I
You
was
didn't
told
even
that
know that.
people that report to you are all
No,
from
you
the shop.
circumvent your supervisor for days off, so it's good when you want to and not good when other people want to.
I do not go to my supervisor because Scott
Okay, I got other
told
things
me.
to do. If
Yeah.
you guys need to discuss it, can you please take it elsewhere?
Yep.
Nick, what are you doing? What are you
Jill?
doing?
You slit your own throat is what you
Paying
did,
me
acting like this.
to
This
come
is
in here.
ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You turned this into you felt physically threatened by me. Done. I am done with this conversation because that
How
is
do
not true.
I do not know how to move forward with
Okay,
this.
let's go and we'll discuss it.
Do you mind if we go in my room?
No. So, yeah.
The fact, so this is another conversation, another opportunity for us to resolve the whole IRA situation. Did not happen. This is why I feel like this has been dragging on.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Why can't we resolve it? Why can't you guys email me the video that gal did so I at least know what's going on?
I'll see if I have the video and you can watch it in my room.
That's really all I've been asking
Yeah,
for, and I
so
feel like I've
all
just
I
been
know- All
crushed
that I
up.
know though is she works in a portal, and I don't know if that was emailed or if that was in the portal. And some things that we look at in the portal, once we look at it, it's gone. Those are some questions. But anyway, so all I want, just to wrap this up, so we're dealing with your, we're gonna deal with your IRA. We're gonna correct that, okay?
What are the steps to this? Because I still am not. I never got the information that
Yeah,
would.
Well, I'm gonna let me watch the video again, and then I'll have a conversation with Wendy. So we're dealing with your simple. We're gonna get that to you as quick as possible. She's already making corrections. And then then we can get back to you. Corrections, meaning internally, so that there's no more errors. I let her know about your new deferral, today, that you want to change the rate. And I have to go in today yet, and I have to make our simple contributions for this payroll, the employer match, and we're gonna start doing that on a regular basis, so you can track it easier. So can we, right? So then, so simple, we'll get on that, and I know you wanna see the video. Okay, so then, I want you to take whatever it is that you feel that you want me to put, cause we talked about this, you've written something up. If you wanna give me a copy of it, that's fine. I'll put that in your employee file. Can you sign that so I can make a copy of it? Just the one that he gave you. This is not agreeing.
have
If you
not-
wanna-
I haven't
go
even
ahead and
read it.
You can, then bring it to me and I'll make a copy for everybody. And but from there,
Listen, I see this word "fuck up."
okay,
Okay, I just don't even know where to begin.
I know
I
that
don't use language like that, and I never said that.
Okay.
Okay. So the fact that anyone in the company
then
is
just
trying to
write on
write me
there.
up, hang on, someone in the company is trying to write me up for something that I didn't do, blows my mind.
Okay, so make a note on there, say I did not say that, and then sign it, if you feel comfortable. Either way, we have a record of
But
it.
why am I being written up to begin with? I did nothing wrong.
Okay.
You said you heard him get loud. I don't know if you heard the conversation.
I did.
I'm a little in
I
shock right now, so-
all I remember is I did hear your voice raised, and I feel like I thought I heard that, but I'm not gonna stake my life on it. However, I do know that sometimes we, when we're upset, we say things, and then it just goes in one ear and out the other. I'm not saying that he said that. I wasn't or that you said that. I'm not in the room. So just mark that on there. But what I want you
But
to
why
do,
am I being written? I don't know what to do with this. I'm in shock.
Okay.
Literally,
fine.
I'm in
Well,
shock right now.
take some time.
So I don't. There was no reason for me to be written up.
Okay.
Okay, somebody who's not even my direct supervisor or HR is writing me up.
Okay.
I don't understand. Are you guys trying to make my life miserable?
I did not write that. I was given that right before the meeting. So, all I want to say, take a few minutes. You can write your response or whatever, whenever you so choose to do that. I know he wants you to move on and get back to work soon. And I understand you need a few minutes just to breathe. I would be the same way. But moving forward after that, what is the best resolution for you? Just to move, we're gonna deal with this. We're gonna correct the errors and we will get back to you, and I'm certain whatever comes out from this, we can have a discussion if there's, and you would have to approach them on that if there's implications with taxes or IRS or whatever. And that's your right to bring that to the table and ask them. But moving on from all that, I want you to read through that and take some time to consider, because everybody wants people to feel valued at work and appreciated. I think Nick's just trying to rein it in. Let's get back to the daily things and feel successful and get back on track as a company. And if his role needs to be more defined, I'm sure he'll make that known to everybody. I wasn't here. I can't say what was said. I heard what Nick said as far as what his position is. But ultimately, we can't, I don't want you to come to work and feel like you're fighting or defending or, like you gotta get past this.
Yes,
right?
with
And we're adults.
with Nick, it's definitely trying to defend myself, trying to explain, him cutting me off, him not being able to continue with the conversation, him
Yeah.
asking me to leave.
Yeah.
I get really nervous when he raises his voice like that. witnessed him do that to people out in the shop, a
Yeah.
few of the employees. The debacle that happened right here in Roger's office blew my mind.
Yeah.
And I'll just speak for myself because I know other people had, their issues or they were nervous as well.
But they need to speak for themselves, and I get that because you're a nurturing, caring person.
No, I'm not speaking for them. I just want to say that it was
But you've overheard it, and it's affected your feelings and, your position.
I just have witnessed the way he, I guess, I just have witnessed him blowing up
Yeah.
at people and losing it and not being able to rein it in.
So what do you want to do for today? Because this has been a lot. Are you going to stay here? Do you have to step away? Are you taking an early break? Do you want, what, just for today? Because I'm off tomorrow and I want to get back to your IRA stuff and help Wendy figure that out. So just for right now, so that can you concentrate the rest of the day on work? Like what does Jill need?
It's interesting that Nick is complaining about my production, and yet he tells me to go home. And I told you now we have a monthly bill because of that.
Monthly bill?
Oh, I may have not told you that. I was working on SEO, and you have to research keywords to.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
And we can't pay for a company to do it like you're supposed to, or have there's a lot of software programs out there, online programs out there that will help generate the keywords for you, because how are we going to know? And they can tell you what your competitors are using. There's a company that has a 7-day trial, and so I signed up for a trial.
And then you missed it, so renewed?
Yeah. Did I tell you about that?
No,
I think I
but
told.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
So that's disappointing.
Yeah. How much was that?
I think it was like $20. I wanted to look into it, but Matt and I had such a good conversation yesterday
I don't
about
worry about $20.
what I'm going. Okay, thank you, because I've been freaking out over it.
That one, did you email me?
Yeah, here, let me find it. No, I haven't even
Just
had time to
email
look.
me the bill and I'll put it in.
Okay.
But I do appreciate when you let me know that there's charges, because sometimes they don't get me receipts and whatever. So back to today, because I have to get this stuff done. So I'm not late on things, but are you able to stay and be productive the rest of the day?
I don't know what to do. I'm looking at this performance issue. There's
What time is it?
11:18.
Okay. Well, you take your break here pretty soon. Can you think about this over your break and then just stop in and talk to
But
me?
what am what am I thinking about?
Well,
I
I know you want to take time and you want to read through that. I respect that.
But I'm seeing this right here. It says prior discussion. Jill was notified on Monday, June 18th to stop any further
During
work
working,
put into
yeah.
trying to correct errors. I have not worked on this since. So what are we accusing Jill of here?
No, I think he's just giving the backstory, because that's generally what you do when there's a written warning. That's all it is. He was writing his recollection. That's not saying.
Okay, and
this
then-
is not saying that you don't have to agree to this.
Have we determined that me working on the IRA is personal business because of Crosstech's mess up?
If I could answer that from what I know, is it against company policy, or is it not an employee's right to go to their employer, anybody, right, and ask questions and ask for documentation? No. But if it's, and I don't know how much time exactly you spent, but if you're working on within your personal account, and I realize a little bit of it had to do with trying to gather the company information, at the same time as figuring out your personal stuff, because it's one and the same, the American Funds thing. I get that, but if there's a length of time where you're just devoting yourself to figuring out what exactly your errors on, that would fall under personal time. But all I'll say is, in the future, let's have a designated time and we'll set up a meeting, we'll stick to it, where we're gonna make sure that you have the stuff that you need, so then on your personal time, you can go, whether that's on your break, or I don't know how exactly your position is set up, or after hours or before, you can then take that information and do your research at home or
So
on personal time.
the company messes up my IRA.
Yeah.
It's pretty screwed up, right?
I would think that, I mean, remember we're humans, right? But I would think that would be a little discouraging, and I would want to look into it.
So in order for me to do that, I need to look at my pay stubs to see
Yeah.
what was taken out. And
Yeah.
I don't have half the pay stubs.
Yeah.
So I asked the appropriate person
Correct.
for that.
Yeah.
And now,
And that was
but listen, remember what I'm being accused of though, okay? So the company messes this up. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to track it. I'm trying to, like probably you were too, figuring out, when these deferrals were entered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to expect me to do that on my personal time, I wouldn't have to spend any time on this had the company done it right.
I think what Nick was trying to bring to the table is, and I'll speak for myself, is that, employees have to do their due diligence to make sure that they're advocating for themselves, that they have their pay stubs, that they have all these things in order, yada, yada, yada. If you don't have a pay stub, you go to the correct person, right? If that was Jess and she wasn't giving you that, I'm sorry about that. And I trust you saying that you had called her out on it. At some point, you should have went above Jessica, maybe you did, to get that stuff. So yeah, you should, there's certain things that a company needs to provide, but there's also certain things that an employee has to do and take care of on personal time or whatever. Do
So
they
this-
cross lines a little bit? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I do think that this isn't personal stuff when I'm trying to convince our HR person that the company does indeed need to make the match.
Yeah, and I think maybe
And it's
we're-
also involving Jess, and now it's involving you. You and I had a pretty lengthy conversation with that gal on the phone.
Yeah.
I don't know, to hear that I made a big deal about this, people overheard conversations, it got other people alarmed and scared because of me standing up for myself and saying this isn't correct, is very concerning to me.
I think too with what Nick was saying is at some point when we said, Jill, thank you, we're going to handle this, but then it kept continuing, I think is what.
Nobody.
But then it came that we made a mistake. This is what it is. And it's like, can we put that to bed just for right now so we can all focus on work? Rest assured we're taking care of it.
When you told me that you guys hired somebody and that you needed this person to work on it and they're going to be working with Nick and Nick's going to talk to me, I did not talk to you about this again.
No,
You
I think
had mentioned.
You had followed up a couple times. We started working with Wendy. quite
No,
a
you
lot.
had given me progress updates
Yeah.
saying, hey, we're, Monday, she's going to have this video, or she's going to have a conclusion, or we're going to you gave me progress updates, but I'm not
Yeah.
emailing you or asking you what's going on. I don't understand how everything,
How it got to where it is now. Yeah.
but I'm blamed for it. That's my big thing, is that I'm being blamed for it.
Yeah. And we did start working with Wendy earlier on than what you were aware.
I had no idea. I had no idea.
couldn't- But when conversations were happening, I wasn't getting a hold of our agent or our broker or whatever. That's when I said we need to ask Wendy about this. So anyway, I got to get back to work because I've got some things I got to get done and get paid before I leave. But yeah, take the time that you need, and I would just read through that. If you can't stay at work today, then you can't stay at work.
Well, then what's going to happen with my pay, though?
Well, are you going to stay here and work today?
If I leave and I don't get paid, I can't afford that.
Okay. So why don't I'll talk to Nick or whatever. But are you taking a break for a moment?
Yeah.
You're gonna take an early break.
No, I don't like to take it outside of my normal time.
Oh, okay. What time do you go on break?
I make it very, I do everything I can to be accountable.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. What time
Noon.
is your break till? Noon. I wish we had a little board that said when people were here or not. So What time is it right now?
11:25.
Okay. So I guess I'm gonna leave that up to you. I'm assuming it would fall into what it did the other day.
Can you let me know on that?
Yeah, so you're wanting to leave for today, but,
I think I'm still in shock right now.
okay. So you take some time over your break and you can revisit when you get back. I'll look into some things.
Okay.